The shooter who killed a student in Kentucky yesterday has been identified. The family of a 16-year-old shot by police will receive a $30 million settlement. A baby was born inside a self-driving vehicle in San Francisco. I'm Kat Pokras, and this is News Recap. The Federal Reserve cut its key interest rate for the third time this year, trying to balance rising inflation with a slowing job market. The quarter-point reduction makes borrowing cheaper for mortgages, credit cards, and business loans. Fed Chair Jerome Powell cautioned that there is no risk-free path for policy and emphasized the importance of keeping inflation from becoming ongoing. 3 Fed officials opposed the cut, the most since 2019. Officials also expect one more rate reduction next year and another in 2027. The Fed projects the economy will grow 2.3% next year and inflation will ease to 2.4%. Job gains have slowed and unemployment has edged up, although economic data has been limited due to the government shutdown. Markets reacted positively with stocks rising after the announcement earlier today. With billions in Affordable Care Act funds set to expire this month, Senate Republicans are offering their own plan as an alternative. The bill by Senators Mike Crapo and Bill Cassidy would let ACA tax credits end and instead put money into health-saving accounts. Adults under 50 would get $1,000 and those 50 to 64 would get $1,500. The funds could not be used for abortion or gender transition procedures. Democrats argue the plan doesn't do enough and could leave millions with much higher premiums. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called it junk insurance that hurts people who need care. President Trump, however, expressed support for giving money directly to Americans instead of insurance companies. The Senate is expected to vote on both the Republican and Democratic proposals this week. Neither bill is likely to get the 60 votes needed to pass. Yesterday in Pennsylvania, President Donald Trump was trying to talk about inflation too, but most of his speech ended up focusing on immigration. At a small event in Mount Pocono, he said inflation isn't a problem and called Democrats' talk of affordability a hoax. Much of his remarks returned to a long criticized topic, where immigrants come from.
We had a meeting, and I say, why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us a few people? Send us some nice people, do you mind? But we always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships.
The event, held in a conference center ballroom at the Mount Airy Casino Resort, had the feel of a campaign rally. Despite being an official White House event, it drew attention for both its small size and the president's blunt remarks on immigration. In the meantime, 4 people were arrested by ICE in a home raid in Burnsville, Minnesota, leaving a 7-year-old boy without his parents. The arrest happened after a couple returned from the grocery store. Agents detained the man outside while the woman ran inside with their son. Then she was arrested as well. The family claims ICE entered the home without a warrant. Other family members inside were questioned and had to show proof of citizenship. 2 other men were also arrested, including a father whose pregnant wife is now caring for their children and the 7-year-old boy. The family, originally from Honduras, came to the U.S. to work and was urged by ICE to leave voluntarily. City officials noted that local police don't usually get notice of federal immigration activity and do not take part. Residents described fear and uncertainty in the community following the raid. A federal judge ruled today that the Trump administration must stop using the California National Guard in Los Angeles and return control of the troops to the state. Judge Charles Breyer in San Francisco granted the order after California officials challenged Trump's decision to deploy the Guard without the governor's approval to enforce immigration laws. The ruling is on hold until Monday. The deployment began in June with more than 4,000 troops. Only about 100 remain in Los Angeles now. The administration administration extended the deployment until February and also tried to send Guard members to Portland. Officials said the troops are needed to protect federal personnel and property. California argued the president was using the Guard as a personal police force. The administration said courts cannot question the president's decisions about public safety. However, other judges have blocked similar National Guard deployments in Portland and Chicago. A shooting at Kentucky State University yesterday sent police rushing to campus. Officers responded to a call just after 3 o'clock about gunfire inside Residence Hall. Campus police had already detained a suspect by the time Frankfort officers arrived.
At approximately 3:10 p.m., our Frankfort dispatch received a call reporting a shooting on the campus of Kentucky State University. Within minutes, by 3:14 p.m., Frankfort police officers arrived on scene. By that time, Kentucky State University campus police had already taken swift action, bringing a suspect into custody. 3 individuals were involved in the incident.
The victim who died has been identified as 19-year-old Dijon Darrell Fox Jr., a student from Indianapolis. The second student remains in critical but stable condition. The suspect, 48-year-old Jacob Lee Bord of Evansville, Indiana, is not a student and is charged with murder and first-degree assault. Multiple agencies responded, including Kentucky State Police, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, ATF, and Homeland Security. Bord is set for arraignment on Thursday morning. Authorities say this is an isolated incident and the investigation is ongoing. A federal judge in New York has approved the Justice Department's request to unseal more files on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Judge Richard Berman ordered the release of grand jury materials, investigative records, and communications from the 2019 investigation. He is the third judge in a week to approve similar requests. Previous rulings also unsealed Maxwell case evidence in New York and Epstein records in Florida from 2005 and 2007. Victims' identities will be redacted to protect privacy. The law gives the Justice Department a December 19th deadline to release certain files.
I didn't have to assert my Sixth Amendment.
And more tragic news in Kentucky. Police in Rockcastle County report a man barricaded himself in his home yesterday and later died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot. Authorities were trying to serve emergency protection orders and felony warrants when the standoff began. Troopers confirmed the man, Marvin Gabbard, was armed. After a tense standoff, officers entered the home and found him dead. The investigation is ongoing. The standoff prompted a major traffic shutdown. Out of caution, Rockcastle County schools placed Roundstone Elementary on lockout. 2 bus routes were canceled and families were told to pick up students directly at the school. Officials stressed, though, that the lockout and road closures were safety measures. No other threats were reported in the area. An Army doctor at Fort Hood, Texas, has been charged with secretly recording women during exams. Major Blaine McGraw, an OB-GYN at Carl R. Darnell Army Medical Center, allegedly recorded at least 44 women, including one who was not a patient, between January and December 2025. He faces charges including indecent visual recording, conduct unbecoming an officer, disobeying a superior, and making a false official statement. A preliminary hearing has not yet been scheduled. McGraw was suspended in October after the allegation surfaced. One alleged victim has also filed a lawsuit claiming McGraw used his position to exploit and secretly record her during an exam for pelvic pain and uterine concerns. On December 2nd, McGraw was taken into custody for violating pretrial conditions and is now being held at Bell County Jail in Belton, Texas. Federal authorities released a new photo of Ryan Wedding, the former Olympic snowboarder, wanted for leading a violent drug trafficking organization. The image was reportedly taken in Mexico over the summer. Wedding is accused of importing roughly 60 metric tons of cocaine a year into Los Angeles from Mexico. The State Department is offering a $15 million reward for information leading to his arrest or conviction. He is also on the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list. Authorities say Wedding allegedly placed a bounty on a federal witness who was later fatally shot before testifying. He is charged with attempted murder and other counts in an updated indictment. Wedding represented Canada in the 2002 Winter Olympics and is believed to be hiding in Mexico, likely protected by the cartel and others. The San Diego City Council approved a $30 million settlement for the family of 16-year-old Kanoa Wilson, who was killed by police, one of the largest such payouts in U.S. history. The amount exceeds the $27 million paid to George Floyd's family, by the way. Wilson was shot in the back by Officer Daniel Gold on January 28th while running from gunfire at a downtown train station. The lawsuit says Wilson posed no threats and that Gold did not identify himself before shooting. A gun was later found under Wilson's clothing. Council member Henry Foster III shared his fear for black youth and questioned progress on police reform since Floyd's death. The family's attorney called the settlement some semblance of accountability, but not closure. Officer Gold is on administrative assignment while the shooting is investigated. Mayor Todd Gloria said the city must learn from tragedy while supporting its officers. A 6-year-old boy from Maryland was found dead inside Times Square Hotel. Authorities say the child became violently ill while visiting New York with his family. Police responded to the Hampton Inn near West 41st Street around 9:40 a.m., finding the boy unconscious and unresponsive. His parents told officers he had been sick and vomiting since Monday night. The boy was taken to Bellevue Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Officials report no signs of trauma on his body. The city's medical examiner will determine the official cause of death. A 14-year-old high school freshman is running for governor in Vermont. Dean Roy from Stowe is trying to get on the ballot in a state with no age limits for candidates. Roy created his own party, the Liberty and Union Party, and is close to collecting the 500 signatures needed. He isn't the first teen to run. 13-year-old Ethan Sonneborn ran for governor in 2018, but he hopes to make history if he wins. His platform focuses on smaller government, lower taxes, housing reform, and rejecting the state's electric vehicle mandate. He also promises no new restrictions on guns, construction, or farming. Roy says he isn't expecting to beat Governor Phil Scott, but wants to launch a political career and introduce himself to voters. If he wins, he would continue school online while serving in office. A baby was born inside a self-driving Waymo vehicle during a ride to a hospital in San Francisco. Waymo said its remote support team noticed unusual activity in the car, checked in with the rider, and called 911. The ride was completed safely, and both mother and baby were handed over to hospital staff at UCSF. The company immediately took the vehicle out of service for cleaning. Waymo said it's proud to serve riders in moments big and small, from newborns to many years old, and wished the family well. And that is all for now. The top stories of the day, no fluff and straight to the point. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. I'm Kat Pokras, and I'll see you next time.